I thought I had found my forever. For 8 years, Amanda and I built what I believed was an unshakable foundation. Our Portland home, my architecture firm partnership, her marketing career. We were, the couple others, envied. Despite our struggle to conceive, we remained united, always facing life as a team. Until that Tuesday evening, when I walked through our front door to find divorce papers on the kitchen counter and her closet half empty. No warning, no conversation, just gone. Before I tell you how my world shattered that autumn evening, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. And if you have ever felt blindsided by someone you trusted, hit that subscribe button. I met Amanda during my junior year at Seattle University. I was studying architecture, working nights at a campus coffee shop to pay tuition. She would come in every Tuesday and Thursday after her marketing class, order the same vanilla latte, and sit by the window with her textbooks spread around her. I noticed her immediately. Not just because she was beautiful with her auburn hair and green eyes, but because she had this infectious laugh that would fill the entire cafe. After weeks of casual conversations while I made her coffee, I finally gathered the courage to sit down during my break. We talked until my manager cleared his throat and pointed at the growing line of customers. That night, I asked for her number, and 3 days later, we had our first date at a small Italian restaurant near campus. Those early days were magical. We would spend hours talking about our dreams. I wanted to design sustainable buildings that would transform cityscapes. She wanted to revolutionize how companies connected with consumers. We were young, ambitious, and completely in love. After graduation, we moved into a tiny apartment in Portland. I landed an entry-level position at a respected architecture firm, and she started at a marketing agency. Our evenings were spent on our second-hand couch, eating takeout and planning our future. We talked about the house we would buy, the places we would travel, the family we would build. 3 years into our relationship, I proposed during a weekend trip to Mount Hood. I had been carrying the ring in my pocket all day, waiting for the perfect moment. When we reached the summit viewpoint overlooking the valley below, I knew it was time. I got down on one knee and asked her to build a life with me. She said yes before I could even finish the question, tears streaming down her face. Our wedding was everything we had dreamed of. A mountain lodge in Colorado, surrounded by our closest friends and family. Her father gave a toast that made everyone cry, talking about how he had never seen his daughter so happy. My best friend Jackson was my best man, and he told embarrassing college stories that had everyone laughing until their sides hurt. The first 5 years of our marriage were focused on building our careers. I was working 60-hour weeks trying to make partner at my firm. Amanda was climbing the corporate ladder at her agency, impressing clients and earning promotions. We supported each other through the long hours and stressful projects. When I had a presentation, she would stay up late helping me prepare. When she had a big campaign launch, I would bring dinner to her office. At our 5th anniversary dinner, sitting across from each other at the restaurant where we had celebrated our engagement, we decided it was time to start trying for a baby. We were financially stable, had just bought our dream house in a family-friendly neighborhood, and felt ready to become parents. The next 2 years were more challenging than we expected. Month after month of negative pregnancy tests took a toll. We saw fertility specialists, tried various treatments, scheduled intimacy around ovulation calendars. Despite the disappointments, I thought we were still a team. Amanda would cry in my arms after each failed attempt, but we would reassure each other that our time would come. Just 1 week before she disappeared, we took a weekend trip to the Oregon coast. We walked along the beach, collected seashells, and watched the sunset with our arms wrapped around each other. She seemed quieter than usual, but I attributed it to work stress. Her agency was handling a major product launch, and she had been working late for weeks. If only I had asked more questions, noticed the signs. For our upcoming anniversary, I had been planning a surprise trip to Napa Valley. Amanda loved wine country, and I thought a relaxing weekend among the vineyards might be exactly what we needed. I had booked a boutique hotel, made reservations at her favorite restaurant, and even arranged for a private wine tasting tour. The confirmation emails were still in my inbox the day I found the divorce papers. In the months leading up to her disappearance, there were subtle changes that I now recognize as warning signs. Amanda started working later, sometimes not coming home until after I was already asleep. Our conversations became more superficial. She stopped sharing details about her day or asking about mine. Physical intimacy became less frequent, and when it did happen, something felt different, distant. But each time I expressed concern, she blamed work stress and assured me everything was fine. I wish I had trusted my gut, pushed harder for honest conversation, or simply paid more attention. Maybe then I would have been prepared for what was coming. Instead, I remained blissfully ignorant, making plans for a future that was already crumbling beneath my feet. The day everything fell apart started normally enough. I had a productive morning meeting with clients, finalized designs for a new eco-friendly office building, and decided to leave work early to surprise Amanda. I stopped by her favorite bakery to pick up chocolate croissants, thinking we could enjoy them with coffee on the back deck. When I pulled into our driveway at 3:30 in the afternoon, I noticed her car was not there. This was unusual, since she typically worked from home on Tuesdays. I figured she might have gone out for a meeting or errands, and continued inside, placing the bakery box on the kitchen counter. That is when I saw the envelope, legal-sized white with my name typed on the front. Inside were divorce papers already signed by Amanda, citing irreconcilable differences. No further explanation, no personal note, just cold legal language ending 8 years together. My first reaction was disbelief. This had to be some kind of mistake or cruel joke. I called her cell phone immediately. Straight to voicemail. I texted asking what was going on. No response. I called her office only to be told by her assistant that Amanda was not available. Rushing upstairs to our bedroom, I opened her closet. About half her clothes were gone along with her suitcase. Her toiletries were missing from the bathroom, though oddly she had left behind her expensive face creams and hair products. In the bathroom drawer, I found her wedding ring placed deliberately in the center like a final statement. Panic rising. I called her best friend Stephanie. The conversation was strange and uncomfortable. Stephanie claimed she did not know anything about Amanda leaving, but could not meet my eyes during our video call. She promised to reach out if she heard from Amanda, but her voice lacked conviction. Next, I called Amanda's parents. They sounded surprised to hear about the divorce papers, but not about our supposed marriage problems. Apparently, Amanda had been telling them for months that we were struggling. This was news to me. Her mother asked if it had something to do with the pregnancy difficulties, suggesting this had been a point of contention I had never recognized. Returning to the divorce papers, I noticed they had been prepared weeks earlier. This was not an impulsive decision, but something she had been planning. I checked our joint bank account to discover half the money had been withdrawn the previous day. Not all of it, just exactly half down to the penny. That night I barely slept. I kept checking my phone, expecting Amanda to call with an explanation. Nothing came. The next morning, I found a credit card statement in our online account showing a hotel booking in Boston, a city where Amanda had frequently traveled for business. I did not recognize the name of the hotel. After 3 days of silence, I received a brief email. Just need some time. Please respect my decision. We'll contact you through the lawyer. No explanation, no apology, just 12 cold words, ending our life together. Friends rallied around me in those first confusing weeks. Jackson came over with beer and pizza, letting me vent. My sister flew in from Chicago and helped me sort through practical matters. Colleagues covered my projects when concentration failed me, but none of them could answer the question that kept me awake at night. Why? As days turned into weeks with no real explanation from Amanda, my confusion transformed into a deep, aching pain. Every morning I woke up reaching for her, only to find cold sheets beside me. The house that once felt like our sanctuary now echoed with her absence. I started sleeping on the couch because our bed held too many memories. Work became my only distraction. Though my focus was shattered, I would stare at blueprints for hours without seeing them. Clients noticed my distraction, and my boss pulled me aside to ask if everything was okay. I took some leave, unable to maintain the professional facade any longer. Jackson convinced me to hire a private investigator, a retired police detective who specialized in finding people who did not want to be found. He discovered that Amanda had quit her job 2 weeks before leaving me. Her colleagues mentioned she had been acting secretive, taking personal calls behind closed doors and clearing her calendar for unexplained absences. The investigator uncovered little else of substance. Amanda had withdrawn cash rather than using credit cards. Her social media accounts remained dormant. It was as if she had simply vanished from her life, from our life without a trace. 1 month after her disappearance, while searching through our shared email account for tax documents, I discovered a receipt for a dinner at an expensive restaurant in Seattle. The date was just 3 weeks before she left a night she had told me she was working late. The reservation was for 2 people. My stomach turned at the implication. My birthday came and went, without any acknowledgement from Amanda. My mother called my friends, took me out colleagues, brought cake to the office, but the person who had celebrated with me for the past 8 years remained silent. That night alone in our house, I finally allowed myself to cry, until there were no tears left. 6 weeks after she left, I received a notification from our joint travel account. Someone had logged in and downloaded our flight history. I checked the IP address, tracing it to Miami. Why was Amanda in Florida? We had never even visited there together. The mystery deepened when a mutual friend reluctantly showed me a social media post where Amanda appeared in the background of a beach photo. She was sitting at a waterfront restaurant, laughing with someone just out of frame. She looked happy, carefree, as if she had not just demolished the life we built together. 7 weeks and formal divorce papers arrived from her attorney. The terms were straightforward. She wanted nothing from the house, no alimony, just the money she had already taken from our joint accounts. All I needed to do was sign. The clinical nature of it all felt like another slap in the face. 8 years reduced to a signature. While packing up her remaining belongings, I found something that finally provided a clue. In the drawer of our guest bedroom was a men's watch. Expensive, not mine, with the initials JDR engraved on the back. I did not know anyone with those initials. The discovery hit me like a physical blow, the first concrete evidence of betrayal. As autumn turned to winter, I existed rather than lived. I lost 20 pounds. Sleep eluded me, and friends worried about my mental state. The house that we had lovingly restored together now felt like a museum of a life that no longer existed. I put it on the market, unable to afford the mortgage on my income alone, and unwilling to live surrounded by ghosts of happier times. 6 months after Amanda walked out, I received an email from her personal account. My hands shook as I opened it. After all this time, her explanation was brief and cold. I needed to find myself. Our relationship was holding me back. I am sorry if this hurt you, but it was necessary for my growth. No acknowledgement of the devastation she had caused, no real explanation for her silence, just self-serving justifications that did nothing to answer the real questions burning inside me. I did not respond. A week later, Stephanie finally broke her silence. Over coffee in a neutral cafe, she confessed that Amanda had been having an affair with her boss, James Randall, for nearly a year before leaving. The initials on the watch suddenly made sense. According to Stephanie, they had been planning a new life together, away from their respective spouses. I was the last to know a fool who had been planning anniversary surprises while his wife plotted her escape with another man. The divorce was finalized through lawyers. I never saw Amanda in person during the proceedings. The house sold quickly, but at a loss. After paying off our mortgage, I had enough for a small down payment on a modest apartment across town. Starting over at 35 was never in my plans, but I had no choice. At my sister's insistence, I started therapy. Those sessions became the one place where I could express the rage, betrayal, and grief that consumed me. My therapist helped me understand that Amanda's choices reflected her character, not my worth. Still, rebuilding my sense of self proved a monumental task. 9 months after she disappeared from my life, Amanda reappeared just as suddenly. I was leaving my office building when I heard someone call my name. Turning around, I froze. There she stood, but not as I remembered her. Her face was thinner, her eyes tired, and her stomach swollen with pregnancy. 7 months along by the look of it. We talked in a nearby coffee shop, the irony of returning to where our story began not lost on me. The tale she told shattered any lingering illusions I might have harbored. James had left his wife for her. They had moved to Miami together, and things had been perfect until she got pregnant. James, it turned out, did not want children after all. He had ended things, leaving her alone and unprepared for single motherhood. What she said next knocked the air from my lungs. During all those months of fertility treatments, all those tears over negative pregnancy tests, Amanda had been secretly taking birth control pills. She had never wanted a baby with me but could not bear to tell me the truth. The pregnancy with James was an accident, a forgotten pill during their passionate affair. Then came the real reason for her return. Amanda needed money. James had cut her off. She had no job, and her parents refused to support what they saw as immoral choices. With tears in her eyes, she suggested that in some way this baby could be what we had always wanted. We could raise it together, be the family we had planned. All I needed to do was take her back and provide for them both. For a brief, insane moment, I considered it. The dream of fatherhood had been so central to my plans, but as I looked at the woman across from me, I no longer recognized her. The Amanda I had loved was gone, if she had ever truly existed at all. That night, after seeing Amanda, I barely slept. My mind raced with conflicting emotions, old wounds torn open again. The next morning, I called my therapist for an emergency session. She listened as I poured out the whole story, then asked one simple question that changed everything. What do you owe someone who lied to you for years? The answer, I realized, was nothing. I owed Amanda nothing. Not money, not forgiveness, not a second chance. Her problems were of her own making, and making them mine would only ensure more pain. When Amanda called the next day, I answered calmly. I told her I would not be funding her new life or raising another man's child. The birth control deception had killed any lingering trust, and without trust we had nothing. She switched tactics immediately, her tears turning to threats. She would tell my colleagues I had abused her. She would claim the baby was mine and demand paternity tests and child support. She would make my life miserable if I did not help her. Instead of cowering, I found strength I did not know I possessed. I had kept all her emails, the divorce papers with her signature, the evidence of her affair. If she wanted a legal battle, I was prepared. The conversation ended with her screaming accusations, while I remained silent, finally seeing the person she truly was. Over the next few weeks, Amanda tried different approaches. She sent emails reminiscing about our good times. She had mutual friends reach out to vouch for her changed heart. Her mother even called, suggesting that Christian forgiveness demanded I help her daughter. I remained firm in my refusal. To clear my head and gain perspective, I took a 2-week solo trip to Montana. In the quiet of the mountains, hiking alone through ancient forests, I found something I had lost: myself. Not the husband of Amanda, not the betrayed spouse, just Charlton, a man with his own dreams and worth. Upon returning, I made 2 important decisions. First, I had my lawyer send Amanda a formal cease and desist letter when I learned she had been contacting my family and workplace. Second, I joined a support group for people dealing with divorce after betrayal. In those weekly meetings, sharing stories with others who understood, I found community in my pain. Piece by piece, I rebuilt my life. I threw myself into work, eventually securing the promotion I had been working toward before everything fell apart. I converted my spare bedroom into a photography studio, reclaiming a passion Amanda had always dismissed as a waste of time. I reconnected with friends I had neglected during my marriage, and made new ones through a hiking club. 6 months after her return, I heard through mutual friends that Amanda had given birth to a baby boy. I felt nothing but a distant pity for her situation and concern for an innocent child born into such circumstances. I sent new gifts, new congratulations. That chapter of my life was closed. The final contact came a year after our divorce. Amanda sent a letter, properly apologetic this time, acknowledging the pain she had caused and explaining that she was moving to Chicago to be near her sister. She did not ask for anything, which was the first honest interaction we had had in years. I did not respond, but I did something more important. I wished her well and meant it. Not for her sake, but for mine. Carrying anger would only continue to hurt me. Through this painful journey, I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is set boundaries. That forgiveness does not require reconciliation. That losing someone who does not truly value you is not a loss at all, but a painful liberation. Today, 2 years after finding those divorce papers, I live in a comfortable apartment overlooking a small park. My walls are covered with photographs I have taken on solo trips across the country. My architecture firm made me a full partner last spring, And most importantly, I have found peace not in someone else's validation, but in my self-respect and the authentic connections I now cultivate. I recently met Ellie, a veterinarian with kind eyes and a genuine laugh at a friend's dinner party. We have been taking things slowly, building a foundation of honest communication and respect. I have been transparent about my past and the work I have done to heal. She appreciates my candor and has shown me what genuine partnership looks like. What I know now is that real love does not diminish you or demand sacrifice of your essential self. Real love strengthens, supports, and allows both people to grow together. Sometimes the most painful endings make space for the most authentic beginnings. If you have ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, completely know that your worth is not determined by their actions. The journey to healing is not linear, but it is possible. I would love to hear your stories of resilience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more journeys of overcoming life's unexpected challenges. Share this with someone who might need to hear that even after the deepest betrayal, a meaningful new chapter is possible. Thank you for listening, and remember, you are worthy of honest love and genuine connection.